My son needed help with another project. He is living in a house that doesn't have a lot of storage, and so he needed a set of shelves, but he also wanted to be able to hang some clothes on them. So we came up with a design to make a set of shelves with a couple of rods to be able to hang clothes on. So after cutting 6 2x4s to 6 foot long, I put these dados into the 2x4s, and I had to run it through twice using a stop. Use that clamp there as a stop so that I could get the right distance. Just remembered I should probably turn off the table saw while I'm doing that. And I was able to get a pretty tight fit as I did this. So then I needed to cut the cross braces that I'm using. Here's my son Barrett cutting those now. We cut them at around 22 inches so that the total dimension from outside to outside on these was 24 inches. Had to take into account that dado as well. Once we had all those cross members cut, then we did a dry fit and then drilled pilot holes. And then we also glued before we screwed these, just to give it a little extra strength. And we put the cross members in to those dados, and then made sure everything was square, and then screwed them in from the side. We had 2 screws at each point, and that dado actually gives a lot of extra strength instead of just relying on screws. You've got a little bit of the wood there to help support these cross members. This board is actually for the clothing rod that's going to go in between. So we needed a piece of 2x4 that was facing the other direction. So we just screwed that in from the side and then from the top of that cross member. And once we were done with that, we marked center on it, and we were using these 1/2 inch black pipe. So we put these flanges on the end and then marked the halfway point on it, which was 12 inches since it was 24 inches across. And then all we did was just made sure the bottom of that flange, that circle, was on the very edge of the board where we put that mark. Then we put where the hole locations are, and then drilled for some pilot holes to accept the screws later on. Then we cut our shelving, which was 79 inches long. We had 2 3-foot pieces of black pipe that we used, and then with the 2x4s it all came to 79 inches. Here I'm cutting some notches. The boards were just a little too wide to fit the space in between the 2x4s as we had it, so we had to create these notches, and it's pretty easy in this pine or spruce, and so this went pretty quickly. Didn't have to look completely pretty. This isn't high quality furniture, but did want it to look nice. Then we took everything over to his house, and here's a time lapse of us putting the whole thing together. So as you can see, there were 3 sections. I'm calling those ladders that we built. And then once we had them in, I screwed in that black pipe with the flange on the end section. And then we held up the second section. We already had the holes where we needed them, and we had put this together in my garage, so we knew how it fit together. And then it was just a matter of putting the screws in place here. And then once we had those in place, then we could put the 1x8 boards in, and just screwed 2 screws at each of those ladders. This helped stiffen everything up, and these are the shelves that he's going to use for storage. So here it is, all done. You can see where the hangers will go, and then he's got lots of room for storage on the top 2 shelves, as well as to maybe put shoes or boots down on that bottom shelf, while keeping them off the floor. I think this is going to serve him very well for his needs, and it's also easy to take apart if he ever moves. Yeah, go ahead and hang it up. Works like a charm. Thanks for watching. I appreciate the support.